Well, good morning, everyone. My name is James Barnes. I'm here at Mississippi State University. I work in the Department of Agricultural Economics. I have a 100% extension appointment, and today I want to talk with you about using Facebook to market your business, community, or region. The extension program that I manage here is called Mississippi Bricks to Clicks. So we're going to spend about an hour together talking about how you use Facebook, how we brand things online, and we'll get into your questions near the end. I'll try to keep up on the chat. I'm assuming everyone can hear me fine. If not, please make note of that in the chat box. Looks like we have about 21 people joining us so far. Again, this will take about an hour. I appreciate all of you being here, being with us, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So here's what we're going to do. First off, a little bit about the extension program, just as a background. And Bricks to Clicks is really what I call an entrepreneurship program. We train business owners how to understand the economics and management best practices when using social media. And probably more than anything, we work on branding and getting the messages developed for a business who is advertising their services or products in a particular market. And that's really what we do. It is a statewide extension program here in Mississippi. We had an in-service back in January, 4 different locations, have about 33 counties who are participating and more every day. So I really appreciate all my extension colleagues and the many others that help make this program possible. What we have in store, what we have ready right now is Facebook. We have 3 courses ready. We're working on Twitter and Instagram. They're going to be very similar to how we've structured the Facebook course, and I'm going to talk about that in particular in the next slide. So 3 courses each, that'd be 9 total when it's all said and done. We expect Twitter and Instagram classes or courses to be ready in the fall of 2016. So here are the courses. Today is really going to be a summary of this first course. I won't get to cover everything I'd like to, but I'm going to cover quite a bit. The first course is called Marketing Mississippi's Agriculture, Communities, and Regions Using Facebook. And the second one is very similar, except it goes much more in depth to organic marketing strategies, including the use of contests, which we'll touch on a little bit today. And then the third one is all about paid advertisements on Facebook, how you do different kinds of ads, whether it's a page post engagement, whether it's a new page like campaign, maybe you're marketing your website, maybe you're using Instagram and Facebook ads simultaneously. So you can do that now on a few fronts. I'll touch on that only once during the seminar, but if you have questions, just hang on to them until the end and I'll take those at that time. So these are the 3 classes. Today, again, I'm going to summarize really this first class as much as possible, and we'll go from there. This is the program website if you want to learn more about what we've done, who we've worked with, the social media research that we're doing to date. Go to msbrickstoclicks.com. You can see that, a few more things. This is the Facebook page. Of course, we're talking about Facebook, so obviously we should have a Facebook page, and we do. Facebook.com/msbrickstoclicks, all spelled out. Here are some publications. I'm going to reference these during our time together. You can Google these, or these are also on the Bricks to Clicks Facebook page, and the website. And I'm going to reference these along the way, just as my sort of research support references, if you will. So I know we're going to cover a lot, so I know you're only going to really remember 2 things from anything that you participate in terms of a webinar. Number 1, I want to give you is that Facebook is only a tool. It's not going to make your product better. It's not going to make your service better if you don't use it in the right way. It can't change the quality of what you do. It can change the way you present things. It can change the way that you brand things. And so that's what we're going to talk about a lot today. So the second point is you need to understand branding. And a lot of what we do online is about messaging. What kind of messages should we put out there, and how should we position those messages? And how do we do it with paid advertisement or not? So 2 key points. Facebook is only a tool. We're going to talk about it today. And we're going to talk probably more so about branding and then how you use the Facebook tool. So again, thank you, all of you, for joining us. Looks like we have about 25 people now. So first off, some branding comes natural to some businesses, some regions, some parts of the country by just the nature of the endowments of natural resources. In this particular picture, you can see a baby calf. And I don't know, but I bet some folks can guess his name. If you'd like to try in the chat box, by all means, please do so. But if you haven't noticed, there's a 7 on the calf's head. So most likely, a lot of votes are going to go toward naming this one Lucky or Lucky 7. And that's how it is in branding. What you put out there, you may have a natural advantage. Some people that have their own businesses who are really outgoing and they do a lot of, they participate in a lot of events locally, they have an advantage in branding their messages because they're out there, they're doing it all the time. And they get better at it. The more you do it, the better you get. So some branding comes natural, some does not. Some other types of branding we have to work much harder on. But here's the upshot. It's never been easier to establish an online brand. We have lots of tools, websites, blogs, social media, agricultural businesses, communities, local governments even can take advantage of using social media to connect with consumers, constituents. So there's never been a better time to launch your online business, to develop your online brand than today. And we're going to talk about the use of just Facebook today. But again, there are lots of opportunities, lots of things that you can use to really brand your message on Facebook and other things like blogs and websites. So a few things about building your business brand that I want to touch on before we go any further. Number one, keep in mind, every time you share images, no matter what they are, you create an experience for your fans. If you don't believe me, just randomly choose any Facebook page and go take a look at the most recent 10 postings. Those 10 images, whatever they are, should tell a story, should present a story or a message about a company's products or services, its brand. What is it, the core message that they're presenting? Those images will tell a story. And as you know, images are very powerful. They can do that. So keep in mind, every time you share, you're creating an experience for a fan on your Facebook page. Also, every time you share images, you create brand awareness, is what we call it, of your products and services, even the people who work for you, if they're involved in that kind of a sharing of images on your Facebook page even. So remember, the first level of this building a business brand is building brand awareness, and the images help you do that. They help tell the story for you, and that's how you want to use those images. So choosing images is very, very important because of that. So keep those things in mind. Number 3, just remember, every time you share images, they reflect you, the business owner, the person who's the administrator of the page. You're responsible. So any images that you share, no matter what they are, any images you post, no matter what they are, ends up being your responsibility. You're building the brand no matter what it is. So you're responsible for those images and what story they really tell. Every time you share images, they reflect your family as well, not just you, but your family. This is especially the case if you're a family-owned farm. We're going to talk about MG Farms in just a little bit, a business here in Mississippi in the southwest part of the state who we work with closely. Just remember, you have to choose the boundary on how much of your family and the images that you want to share as a part of your business. And, that's a boundary that you have to choose as a business owner. But remember, sharing those images, they do reflect you and your family. And finally, every time you share images, they reflect a visual theme. It's either good or bad. We're typically not very good at picking out things in the middle, but we can tell if something's good and we can tell if something's bad. So remember that. Anytime you're putting your images out there, you're creating an experience, you're building an awareness. They do reflect you and your family, especially in the case of a business owner who has a family farm, let's say. Every time you share images, people are going to look at it and judge it, good or bad. So there's really not a lot in between. And you know what a good one looks like, and I'm sure you know what a bad image looks like. And an image is worth 1,000 words, and in today's marketplace, it could be worth 1,000 likes. So you choose your images very, very carefully based on the story and the message that you want to tell. So branding basics, I'm going to cover these 3 points, and then we're going to get into this in more detail. I'm going to give you an exercise that you can do as you want to think about creating your brand on Facebook or anywhere else, really. So what I call the branding basics. If I say Coca-Cola to all of you, there's about 30 of you on there right now listening. If I say Coca-Cola to you, what colors come to mind? Well, I've already given you a hint on the screen, and hopefully for Coca-Cola's sake, it's red and white. And they've spent billions of dollars to create that impression, that image in your mind. So every business has or must know its own red and white. What are the colors that you're going to use? And be consistent. How are you going to use those colors to tell your story? What is it that's really the core thing about your business? What is it that you add value? How do you add value to your customers? How do you add value to your fans on your page? And so it's not just about customers and a business page. It could be about any page. For extension, let's say, how do we add value for those who are on our extension pages? How do we interact with them? How do we get them engaged? So these 3 points, think about it. You know, Coca-Cola has spent billions of dollars to help you remember red and white. You also have an experience that goes along with when you think about Coca-Cola. Or if I said Pepsi, either one. So think about that. And think about what is it on your Facebook page, whatever it is, whatever kind that you're managing. What colors are going to come to mind when people think of your page, your name, your business? And what's the experience they're going to have in their minds? What is it that you're wanting to create? Because remember, most of this stuff is an experienced good. We're going to get some kind of an experience from following your page. And that's the bottom line. And finally, you know, what makes your business unique? How do you add value to your customers? All of that has to be tied to the red and white colors and the experience. And it's not just important to identify this stuff because you want to know your core value for your business or your page, but it helps you answer some really tough questions about posting content on Facebook. And so here they are. Knowing your business is red and white, it's going to help you identify the content you should post. And what I bump into more than anything else when I work with small businesses anywhere is they struggle to put together what kind of content should I be putting out there. There are dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of social media marketing companies now that exist primarily to help you come up with content. But I've found that if you can answer the red and white question, if you can go back to what it is, the experience that you want to give people, I think you can identify what kind of content you want to post. Is it going to be images? Is it going to be videos? Is it going to be a combination? You know, I think it will help you answer the question. And we're going to do an exercise in just a second, and I'm going to give you an example of how you do that. Number 2, what we do is taking what we know about the red and white, the core of the business. Can we build a content calendar that's 30 days at least? And if you know your red and white, if you know the core of your business, you're going to be able to do this. It's going to allow you to answer what kind of content should I be posting out there on my Facebook page or anywhere else in social media. So also know that it's not just about the hard sell on any Facebook page. You're not going to be able to just hard sell to people on social media and that be the only thing that you provide. Lots of Facebook pages provide education of some kind. So it doesn't matter what kind of a company, what kind of a page that you manage, you can focus on the red and white, you can focus on your products and services and what it is, the core value of your company and what you want to add to the marketplace. But also you need to sprinkle in that, in your postings, something that's educational, something that's even entertainment. I don't want to go so far as to say you need to be putting iFunnies up there all the time. I don't think you should. Humor is something that we stay away from quite a bit. It's very difficult to do because some people may find it funny, some people may not. So I steer clear of recommending too much humor on any Facebook page. Not to mention it dilutes away from the idea of what the red and white really is for the company. But again, so it's about content, building a calendar around your red and white, what it is for your business, and then adding that one other component. What is the educational piece that we can add to our Facebook page? How do we bring all of that together? So I'm going to give you an idea. This is a schematic of what I use with every business owner that I work with. And this is developing a brand identity. And this is really focused on products and services, not the educational piece we just talked about. So just imagine this. If you're a business owner, just for a minute, draw one of the circles in the upper left-hand corner and just think about the main products or services that you provide. What are your key revenue drivers? What are those? Write them in there. Identify what they are. And then on the right-hand side, what is it that's your red and white? What are the colors that go along with your brand image that you want to give people when they think of your name, like Coca-Cola? And what kind of experience do you want to give them on your Facebook page? How do you want to reach customers? What kind of experience do you want to give them? And then finally, what's your message going to look like? Knowing the product and services that are your key drivers for revenue, knowing your red and white, the colors and the experience that you want to provide to people, what is your message going to look like? Are you going to include organic only messages on your Facebook page, those that you post on your own? Are you going to use paid advertisements? Are you going to use images plus videos? Are you going to use a combination? Are you going to put contests on there to drive engagement higher? What is it about your messaging that you're going to do? So really the overlap of all three of these circles are going to help identify your brand. And I've found this to be very helpful working with small businesses in the past. On any page, I think the same thing applies. You're always trying to figure out, what am I selling? What am I pushing? And that has to do with your products and services. And you want to choose the ones that are bringing in a lot of revenue, right? If you're a small business owner. What's my red and white? What do I want to be known for? That's what Coca-Cola, the little exercise was earlier. What colors? Red and white. Okay, so what are yours going to be, and what's the experience going to be? And then finally, your message. What's it going to look like? So as I said, if you're developing, content, this can help you get to the point where you identify what kind of images and combination of things am I going to do on my page to really push my products and services. Now, as I said before, it's not just enough to push this. You have to offer education as well. So think about it like this. Think about developing your brand identity and focusing on education. What else can you add to the mix? So it's the same exercise. You have the products and services, the circle on the left. You have your red and white, your colors and experience you want to give fans. And then at the bottom, you have education or entertainment. How are you going to do that? How can you blend in education to your page? So how can you educate consumers about your product or your service? Why is it that your bakery produces the best quality bagels or whatever it is? How can you educate consumers? Maybe it's about the health benefits of consuming fresh vegetables at farmers markets. What is it going to be? So what I'm saying is you can't get by with just selling to businesses all the time, just pushing your products and services. You need to blend in some kind of educational content, even a little bit of entertainment if you can do it. So what does that look like? As you develop that and you develop what these things look like on your page, I think you can develop a content calendar. And that's the whole idea. So here's an example. I'll give it to you. We've worked with the Oktibbeha County Co-op for the past year. Every week, the co-op has worked with us and we've created their content on their Facebook page. And what we've done is we started with this same exercise in mind a year ago, and we sat down and we talked with the owners and the different people who are involved. And we said, what is it that you want to be known for? What is the core thing that you want people to know about what it is you do here at the store and online? What is it that you want to do? Their main message was, we want to be known as an organization that gives back to the community. That's it. That's what we want to be known for. They were already doing several things in the community. They wanted people to know this is what they wanted to do. So our strategy was to design weekly Facebook contests. So every week for a year, and they're still doing these, they give away something back to the community. They do a contest of whatever sorts. It may be the nursery. It may be something. They did some stuff around Christmas time. I mean, there's all kinds of things they did for 52 weeks. We helped them do that information and post it and get it out there to the folks. And yes, we promoted it. It was a form of a paid ad as well. So we did a contest and we promoted it every week for a year. Now, what we're doing right now is we're looking at the impact of that. They're sharing with us some information from their side and telling us what they found. So we're in the middle of exploring that. But this is an example of one organization who said we want to be known for giving back to the community, and that's going to be their one thing. That is their red and white. So if you're looking for a magic formula, I don't know that there's a magic formula out there, but this is one that we've used over time, in the past 2 or 3 years in the Bricks to Clicks program. And it's really straightforward, very simple. So I'm really thinking about my brand identity. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. I use contests, we do organic postings, and we use some Facebook paid ads. And I think that's much of how a lot of people create their brand identity online. Now, the nature of all those three things really depend on, the overlap of those three circles as we went through them a minute ago. But this is kind of the idea. So up to this point, I've assumed that you've bought into the whole idea of using social media. It's a good idea to use it for marketing of your business, your company, no matter what you are as an organization, but maybe not. Maybe you're just exploring this. Maybe you're just starting out thinking about doing this and having to sell this whole idea to maybe some other people. So why social media? Well, it fuels connectivity with people like we've never had before. Just for example, in 1 hour, the graphic shows what happens online. We're talking about over 3 million likes. I mean, millions of posts, all kinds of content that are being pushed out there, messages. Amazon, they sell about 3,200 items every minute, about $150,000 per minute. And YouTube, 126 hours of video is uploaded every hour. So it's an incredible pace of information being shared and created, connecting people like never before. That's a good thing for businesses, to the point that you can connect to those consumers. You have an opportunity to sell to them like you've never had before. So maybe you're convinced, maybe social media is for you. You like some of these things. You think there's some opportunity. You're going to start off and you ask the question, there's so many channels. Which one do I start with? Well, Facebook is huge. That's the bottom line. And it's not a bad one to start with for a lot of different reasons. Number one, there's almost 1.5 billion people on it globally. And they own other aspects of social media. Many of you probably know they own, of course, the Messenger app, but also WhatsApp, a messaging and communication app, and then also Instagram. There's 300 million plus people on that. So from lots of reasons, you can use Facebook. Some other ones. This is social media sites, just up, to 2014. And you can see the percent of online adults who are using the website or the social media platforms. Facebook dominates the whole landscape. And in this case, they have the bookends. They have Facebook and Instagram. So they are a huge, huge marketplace for social media interaction. Also, you should know that the size of the average network, I guess you'd say, has grown. It used to be about 130 friends per Facebook account. As of back in 2012, it's up to 350 friends for every personal account that's out there. On average, there's 350 people connected to it. So those are the indirect potential customers that you could have access to if you're a business thinking about using Facebook and a page. So a few facts just to keep in mind. Facebook users spend 39 minutes each day sharing content. That does not include the amount of browsing that they do. We're talking about just sharing content on pages and other personal accounts. The average person, as I said, has about 350 friends, and they're connected to 80 groups, pages, and events, which is a tremendous amount of connectivity. And here's really the game changer. 48% of people ages 18 to 34, they check Facebook when they wake up. 28% of that group do so before getting out of bed. They are connected in a way like never ever before. So, as a business, as an organization, you have an opportunity to connect with people in different ways that was never present before social media. So all of that connectivity is great, but when it comes down to it, what are the economics of it? What do the economics show us about social media and the different platforms? Well, the graphic here shows some of the economics of social media. You can see that Facebook creates the most referrals, Facebook creates the most shares, and generates the most revenue. And this is why it's still making lots and lots of money every quarter. The most quarterly report, most recent one, showed that Facebook continues to do rather well as a company. So again, they lead in terms of referrals, shares, and of course that leads to the most revenue among all social media platforms. Now, that's the good news. The bad news is not everybody's happy with their social media campaigns. Only about 5% of companies and organizations in general are satisfied with their social media campaigns. You might be asking the question, well, why is that the case? Well, from the graphic, we know 26% are satisfied, 5% are highly satisfied, but 42% are somewhat satisfied, and 27% are not satisfied at all. So I have a theory about why that's the case. 4 reasons. Number one, the disconnect exists between social media campaigns and business success, I think, because number one, I don't think they've identified their red and white. I don't think they've really identified the experience, the images, the colors, the story that they want to tell. And because they haven't, I don't think they figured out how to post images and when and how to build a real content calendar for social media that's based on business goals, not just ad hoc postings when a business owner may have time. It takes more proactive steps than that, many more. Number two, I don't know that they've identified an educational content stream. Maybe they're hard selling too much. Maybe that's running people away from their pages and that's hurting sales. So have they added an educational content stream? It's possible they have neglected that part. And if so, hard selling doesn't work all the time on social media. Number three, maybe they don't use contests correctly. And maybe even if they do, they don't use them often enough. We used contests with the Oktibbeha County Co-op for a year and drove engagement to much higher levels than ever before. So maybe they haven't been doing one of the 3 things up above. And the fourth one's probably the most important. Maybe they haven't been doing items 1 through 3 long enough to measure really a return on some kind of an investment they've made, their time, the Facebook ad money that they've invested, the hours it takes to post content. Maybe there's something there that they have not done consistently. So typically you have to do something consistently, items 1 through 3, for 6 months to be able to really objectively look at it and be able to understand what your fans and their interaction and the engagement are telling you. So just running out there and doing one ad this week and nothing for 6 months and then saying, well, it didn't work, that's probably not a best practice. And so you have to do these things consistently. And I think that's the key to any of this stuff in advertising on Facebook, is to do it consistently. So developing your brand. If you haven't done those things, you might be having a question mark. How do I develop it? What does it look like? If you go through the exercises, I think they'll help you identify what it is as a story that you want to tell. What are going to be the core things you want people to remember about your business, your organization, and then focus on those areas and what images and video are going to help you tell the story. So with all that in mind, what I thought I'd do is share with you some things that we've done here in Mississippi in the Bricks to Clicks program, just sort of case study results, and we'll do them very quickly. And then I'm going to give you some practical stuff that you can implement on your Facebook page and see improvement. I really believe that, and I'm going to share with you some of those things in just a minute. First up, as I mentioned, we work with the co-op. When we initially first started working with them, we did a 6-week experiment in their marketing period last year. In the spring, we posted 83 times over a 6-week period. We had a little over 15,000 engaged consumers or potential customers. During that time, we added about 2,400 fans. We did some paid ads during that period. Garden sales increased compared to the year before, 15% higher than the year before, and much of everything else was the same. And this is what they reported to us as an impact. The Mississippi Farmers Market, the one in Jackson, Mississippi, one of the top 10 in the nation. We continue to work with them even today, but this particular period was a very short period, May 20th to June 11th. We did 22 postings. We had 5,700 or plus engaged users, about 2,100 fans added during that period. Consumer attendance at their opening event on June 11 was 43% higher than the year before. And they did a survey of their vendors to see what impact the marketing had had from the previous year. 61% of vendors reported increased sales greater than 15% compared to 2014. So we know that advertising benefited them as they opened up on June 11 for a big event that they were doing. Same thing we're doing with them this year, working toward that June 11 opening date event. MG Farms, I mentioned a little bit earlier about a family farm. This is in Southwest Mississippi. From January 5th to March 5th, we worked with them on their page. We didn't post as many times, only 12 postings during that period. We were marketing a regional livestock sales event that they did every year. About 4,400 engaged users. We added about 1,120 fans during that period. Livestock sales, the day of the sales and measuring the sales of it, they did and told us that attendance was up 20% from the year before, and sales were up 33% from the year before. So I just want to share those case studies with you quickly. We have some publications. I'll be glad to share those with you on by email or however you'd like. You can Google some of those things we've talked about. But what I want to give you right now is some tips for the road, some practical advice that you can take with you in our next 30 minutes that we have together, things that you can plug in on your pages if you want to. So we're going to play a little game, and I like to call it the First Impressions branding game. So I show you a page, and you have 3 seconds to look at it and come up with 3 words that come to mind. Now, obviously, we can't do this in the kind of interactive way that I would with a group, if I was with them in person. But just think about this for yourself. Write down the words that come to mind. And then I'll share with you the words that we've heard over and over again when we've shared these images with other folks in different settings. So let's do the first one. Here's the first one. You've already seen this image. This is the ag co-op that we work with here locally, the Oktibbeha County Co-op. Hopefully you're thinking fresh. Hopefully you're thinking vegetables, hardworking, organic, and fresh and good. Hopefully those are some of the words that come to mind. I really hope it is. So let's do another one. Let me go forward and we're going to look at another page. Here we go. Remember, 3 seconds. So hopefully you're thinking fresh. Hopefully you're thinking these look really good to eat. You'll notice for this particular page, the strawberries are in little crates ready to be sold, ready to be purchased. So that's another image, and it's another experience that they're giving their fans by showing them these kinds of images. And of course, the profile image is always going to be your logo. You don't have to change that. If you have a logo, you should leave it alone there. The cover photo you can change quite often, but in this case, hopefully you're thinking fresh, organic, summertime, those kinds of things. So here is MG Farms. As you might guess, it's livestock, and the family farm is the profile picture, and that's the image that they want. This is who they are, and this is what they do. One more. So again, hopefully you're thinking fresh, you're thinking vegetables, you're thinking organics, you're thinking this looks really good. This is ready to be sold. You can see they're in the crates. If you want the whole crate, they'll sell the whole thing to you, right? So this is market ready product. It's ready to go. And I hope you noticed that during the course of looking at these pages, your eye tends to gravitate to the middle of the cover photo. And it is prime real estate in terms of, space that you have available on your Facebook page. So let me go back and also remind you of something else that you may not have noticed. You probably noticed red in the images throughout. We find red does really well with engaging consumers on anything we do for fresh food. It just has a really good impact, and it connects with people. Makes them hungry, according to some research I've heard. So those are just what I call the first impressions game. Now, here's the deal. Before I go on and look at some example postings and images that we've been using, I want you to think about what we've talked about branding and telling your story and the images you use. Because everyone that's coming to your Facebook page is going to have that 3 seconds to look at your page, and they're going to form an opinion. They're going to form an opinion about what it is those messages are telling them. So that's why you want to choose them very, very carefully. So I'm going to go through and just show you some example postings and images we've used in the past. This is one on the Oktibbeha County page. Happy Thanksgiving. You notice the image, it's a high quality image, and sometimes we use stock images, sometimes we take pictures, just depends on what's going on. But notice that you want to have good, clear images. The optimal size is 940 by 788. It's a good sized image to use. It's a pretty good best practice that you can follow. That's typically the size of images that we use on any organic postings that we do. This image was taken with an iPhone. And just remember that vertical images that you post on your pages typically get you more reach than vertical ones, and where there's a little bit of white space left in the margin when you look at a news feed from a desktop or laptop or even iPad perspective. So again, this one was taken at the nursery at the Co-op. It's a really bright, good, clean picture. And so those are just some examples of the kinds of postings that you can do, the kinds of quality that you can do. Smartphones are fantastic to take images with. Again, most of what we present are horizontal images that are 940 by 788 in dimension. Those tend to do extremely well from what we've learned on the Co-op's page. So some of you may be wondering, and I said this earlier, that we would touch on contests and sweepstakes, whichever one you want to phrase it as, on Facebook. And there's a set of rules that you should follow, and they're clearly marked on Facebook. I'm going to give you 4 economic reasons to use contests, why you want to use them on Facebook. Number 1, every Facebook page needs engagement with fans. Now you can think of it as reactions. So you're going to need that. It's not enough just to have a large page. A large page with no engagement is not going to get you where you want to go. You're going to need engagement. So we use contests to drive engagement. Number 2, every Facebook page needs to grow. And we measure that by the number of fans liking a page, because that's important to reach new customers or clientele. Maybe it's an extension page that you're managing. It's still important. And you're going to connect with people. That's going to be a metric that you're going to watch repeatedly. Number 3, every Facebook page can organize contests, and you can do so, like in the case of the Co-op, we do contests to showcase departments, because every department is a little bit different inside of the Co-op. So we organized the contests over the last year to showcase things about the different departments. And that's a way to bring awareness to everything that's produced and marketed and sold inside of one organization. Now, remember this. On your Facebook page, if you do a contest and you do it correctly, and let's just say that you have 500 people that participate, and you boosted you've turned it into an ad, you've got this fantastic contest. Well, here's the deal. When the contest is over, you still have a message board, in a way, back to those 500 participants. You can periodically, and I wouldn't overdo this, but occasionally you can go back to that post and remind them of something about what's going on in your organization, what you're selling, an event that's going on. Maybe you're having another contest. Some people will take a current contest link off their Facebook page and cut and paste it into a previous post about a contest. So there's lots of reasons you want to do contests, but being able to directly message, 500 people at once is a very strong reason of why you can use contests. Not only does it drive engagement, but it provides a message board for you to directly send messages at a future date. So really, at the end of the day, social sales depend on growth, engagement, and direct marketing messages that you can organize using contests. That's what we found to be true. 4 reasons why you can use contests. So a little bit about contests and sweepstakes, things you ought to know from Facebook. Number 1, don't ask people to like a page to be entered in your contest. Now, you can ask people to like a page, no problem. But don't ask them to like a page to play in your contest. Number 2, don't ask them to share a post to be in a contest. Both of these are against Facebook regulations or rules. The first one is called like gating, and that's what Facebook calls it. And the second one, of course, sharing a post. I know lots of us have seen contests that say like and share, okay? And a long time ago, the rules were different and you could do a lot of that. But since January of 16, you're not allowed to do that. You're not supposed to do it. So liking a page, sharing a post, don't do them. So if you wanted to look this stuff up, you can go to Facebook's Help Center and you can just type in contest and it'll come up and it'll show you in the middle of the page the things that you can do to have people entered into a contest, things that you can do correctly that are within the rules. The first thing you can do is you can ask them to like a post. Number 2, you can ask them to comment on a post. You could ask them to send you a private message, or you could ask them to post to your page. And that is it. That is all that's on the Facebook page that tells us these are the rules to follow. It does not say you may ask people to like your page. It does not say you can have them share your post. Now here's an interesting fact. Over our research for the past year, working with the Oktibbeha County Co-op, one of the things that we have found to be true is no matter what you tell them, they're going to share the post. About 40 to 50% of the people in the contest that we put on for 52 weeks, they share the post no matter what you tell them to do. And that's just, they're trying to be a good social citizen and play along and give some friends of theirs a chance to win as well. So it's okay. You don't have to ask them to share. About half of the group is going to share anyway. So it's better to play it by the rules than to break the rules and get more shares. It just is. So now let's just say that you don't follow those rules. Maybe you think, well, Facebook's really big. They're probably never going to catch me. Well, let me give you an example of when they will catch you. So let's say you're a flower shop, and let's say you're running all these contests and you're asking people to like your page and share your posts. And a competitor sees what you're doing online. And that competitor reports your post to Facebook. Well, now it's gone from a big conglomerate into the queue of somebody at Facebook to review. And they're going to review anything that's reported. And if you're breaking the contest rules, you may get off lightly the first time. For example, number 1 here, maybe they'll just delete your contest post. Or maybe they'll just send you an email, send you a message on your page telling you to stop doing it. If you persist, the impact on you goes up. The penalties go up. So maybe they'll restrict your posting so that words like contest and giveaway are no longer allowed. They can do that. Maybe they'll delete your page altogether without your consent because, again, they own the platform, you don't. And all it takes really, as I was saying, is one person reporting your contest to change the nature of the way your page is reviewed and examined by Facebook. So nobody wants to wake up as a small business owner with 4,000 or 5,000 people on my page and find out that my page no longer exists because I didn't follow the rules for contests. Facebook guards very, very much the experience all of us have on Facebook. So they're going to enforce these things. So be very careful, follow the rules, and you'll be fine. So here's some example contests, things that we did with the Oktibbeha County Co-op. I wanted to give you these things as we wrap up here. Again, this is the co-op. On average, in this one particular month, we reached about 17,000 people. Post engagement, about 1,117, as you can see on this particular graphic on the right-hand side. So what do some of the contest postings look like? Well, here are some of the ones we did last year. You can see the one on the left, we were giving away a bulldog statue, and cowbells. For those of you that don't know, that's really big here at State. And so you can see we reached about 34,000 people. We had about 1,200 people playing the contest, and so we gave away those prizes. We had 7 winners for that particular prize or that package. On the right-hand side, something very similar. We gave away the bulldog and then a 3-gallon mum as well, and reached about 25,000 people, and we had 733 people who played that contest. And again, we didn't pay a huge amount of money to promote this. On the left, we paid $10 or $12. On the right, we paid about $18. Now, we budgeted to spend $60 every week on the contest, but we didn't have to. Why didn't we have to? Because more than half of the people shared the post anyway. We never asked them to do that. We just asked them to like and comment. So what I'm showing you is it's possible to follow the rules that Facebook has and get a lot of engagement. Now, they have 2 postings on their page. You can go back and look at these, and you can access 1,200 people directly. So when they have something else about cowbells, about mums, about whatever it is they're selling, they can go back and every once in a while, they can tell people directly now something about their organization. They can add value that way. They've already paid for the advertisements, so they can go back and use these postings again. Other content that you want to see on the Oktibbeha County page, this is the URL address. Just go to OKT, well, I'll just let you look at it. Oktibbeha is how you say it, County Co-op, and you can find that on Facebook. More than 50 contest examples are up there as a result of our work for the past year. Also, if you're interested in following something about contests, a recently published article in the Journal of Extension, my colleague Kaylin Coatney here and I put together. It's an example of how to make the most of contests. It's in the Journal of Extension, Boosting Consumer Engagement Using Contests or Through Contests. So check that out. That gives you links to all the rules within Facebook. If you don't want to go Google all those and find them, just go to Joe and check that out. Also, there's a new article that's coming out soon. I can send you copies of it if you want to get a look at it. Maybe you're at the point where, as a business owner, as someone who manages an extension page, a community page, or whatever, maybe you're at the point of saying, I've seen enough of the results. I want to go deeper. I want to use Facebook advertisements, but I don't know how to get started. How do I get all this organized? So this article is coming out in Joe soon. Organizing to use Facebook advertisements, a planning tool for extension professionals, businesses, and communities. So if you'd like to see a copy of that, I've got it. I can email that to you. Just let me know. That should get you started as well. And then finally, I'll give you just a little insight to some of the paid ads that we've done, some examples. If you're interested in going deeper in paid ads, maybe this will encourage you to do so a little bit more. This is a screenshot of some of the ads you can do. As I said earlier, these cross over now with Instagram. Not all of them, but there's some that you can do, especially video promotions. The 2 most commonly used on Facebook pages that you're going to find is that you're going to boost a post and you're going to promote your page or bring new people to your page. And those are the 2 most commonly used. Now, if you got a website, you're trying to push sales, of course, they have some other things on here available for you as well. So one of the ads that we did for the Oktibbeha County Co-op, it was a page-like ad. I thought I'd show it to you. I'm going to let you choose the best image as to which one you think does the best on Facebook, and then I'll show you the winner at the end. So you're going to have 4 images. You can just make a note of images 1, 2, 3, and 4. Lock it away as to which one you think won the contest or did the best on Facebook, and then I'll show it to you. So here they are. We were trying to build page likes early on in the work with the co-op. Notice the ad copy is the same for all 4 images. The one on the left is image 1. the two little boys fishing who were very successful, as you can see. And the image on the right, which you've already seen a little bit of today. So this is images 1 and 2, and then images 3 and 4. You can see tractors on the left and then the nursery on the right. Now, what's interesting to note is the two images you're looking at, images 3 and 4, were images we took at the co-op with an iPhone, horizontal, took the images that way. Now, these two images were stock images. So we've got two stock images and we've got two that we took at the co-op, at the location. So what we do is we put all 4 images in an ad campaign. We roll them out there for 30 days. The first 7 days, one image will begin to separate from others, or if not, 2 images will begin to win. By winning, I mean the number of times it's shown, it's getting more response in terms of page likes. So that's the winner. Eventually, it's getting more page likes, and eventually we pause the money we're putting on the poor performing ads or images, and we put all the money on the winner. And so we ran that deal. So you've got images 1 and 2, and you've got images 3 and 4. So with all that information, you can pick which one do you think did the best. Was it going to be images 1 and 2, the stock images, one of those two? Or would it be images 3 and 4 from what you know and what we've talked about? So here's the winner. This particular image did extremely well. It built quite a bit of page likes over the other 3. I don't have all the metrics in front of me right now, but I just want to show you this is kind of how you lay out a paid advertisement campaign and how the process really unfolds. And so this particular image did really well, and guess what? We bought the image, and that's part of what we're using on the page, or did use on the page at that one point in time. So most of this is an experiment, and you're going to have to be comfortable with experimenting. What images tell my story the best? Use them, test them, spend some money on these paid ads to figure out what's going to resonate with the people that I'm really after, my target market. If you don't know who you're after with your target market, there's no amount of Facebook tools or any other social media tools that are going to help you. You have to know your target market. And to the extent that you do, social media has a lot to offer. As we wrap up, just want to say that, again, this has been kind of a summary of this first class that we teach, Marketing Mississippi's Agricultural Communities and Regions using Facebook. We also have the other 2 classes, which they're much more intense, 2.5 hours each. There's a small registration fee for each, all 3. This is what we do. This is kind of how we roll it out to communities, to anyone who's interested. Would love to hear from you if you're interested in taking any of the courses. Again, this has been a little time with you today to explain how to use Facebook to market your business, a community, a region. You can use Facebook to market regional economic development initiatives. There's all kinds of things you can use it for in what I would call local or regional or even state economic development purposes. And that's how we're doing it. We're working with small businesses, but also working with farmers markets and many others. So that's pretty much the presentation at this point. I'm going to stop. I'm going to try to take any questions that you have in the chat box. And I believe after that, we will close up for the day. And I will do my level best to keep up with the questions as they're coming in. I see several people are typing, so I'll try to take them first in and first out. Courtney's asking, how many times a day would you suggest to post? Courtney, that's going to depend on who you are and do you have a job as a social marketer, or are you a small business owner? So you ought to be posting at least once a day. I mean, the bare minimum, once a day. And you got to look at your data to make sure you understand when to post that. A lot of times noon and around 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock are good times, but gosh, one a day is sort of the minimum, I would say. Ruby asked the question, can we download the PowerPoint from today? This will be recorded. I think SRDC can make it available as well. So yes. Yeah, Rachel is notifying us that it has been recorded and it will be available very soon. And we can get this information out to you. Ruby asked the questions, do you work with county governments that are trying to promote their counties? I have before, Ruby, several times in different parts of Louisiana, especially the northeast part. And we used it to promote initiatives. We used it to promote anything that was needed to be meetings at government meetings of any kind. I mean, we use it for a lot of different reasons. Here in Mississippi, we haven't done much of that at all, but it's certainly something that you can do. Katrina, oh, thank you, Katrina. Thank you for being with us today. Any other questions, folks? I see several people are writing, so I'm just going to hang on here until I see the questions pop up. Liz is asking, do you charge businesses that work with you? In extension, we're not charging the businesses. We'll put on the classes, and that's pretty much how we roll the program out. Janet, thank you. Thank you for being with us. I see your comment. Um, Natalie says, very helpful. Are the items you have given follow MSU rules for social media as well? It follows what the co-op wanted to do. It's their business. We didn't tell them what they should give away. That was at the discretion of the co-op, not us. And Natalie, I'll be glad to talk with you after the webinar if you have further questions on that subject. Liz, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I hope it was helpful for everybody. And thank you, thank you. Rachel, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. And again, this is provided by the Southern Rural Development Center here at Mississippi State University. So we appreciate SRDC putting all this together and giving us an opportunity really to reach out and share all this with everybody. Well, folks, that's it's 11 o'clock my time. We've been on here for 1 hour. I want to stay true to form here and only be on here for an hour. I see I'll take one or two more questions and then we're going to wrap up. Courtney, thank you. Folks, that's going to do it for us. You've got a link there already in the chat box how you can get to the webinars and the PowerPoint. Thanks to Julie for helping put this on too, and others at SRDC. And if you have any other questions, you can always email me at james.barnes@msstate.edu. Thanks to all of you and have a great rest of the day.